know what to tell you, but I feel bad for you anyway. So.
Oh, thank you. I think your advice was really helpful. Thanks.
All right. So right now I did bring this back. I didn't have anything there. Now, this is one thing we're going to add today. For some reason, my project is picking up virtually nothing as far as Bootstrap goes, and I don't know why. So why am I telling you this? Well, first of all, this shouldn't be up there. It should be down here. But when you click on this should have each category of ball. So it should say baseball, basketball, football, golf ball, etc. Those should all be there. And it's not. So I don't know what the problem is with that. All right. Once we had that, we don't need this anymore to get all balls, but I still need it because this isn't working. But now what you'll notice is if I come in here and let's throw some stuff in the cart, notice the cart's working. So I can come back, I'll add something else. I'll add a basketball. Oops. But I can't add the basketball from this page. It doesn't take it. All right. So this is another thing I'm going to have to check on. All right. But if I come and add it from here, not from there, if I come back and add it right here, there it is. All right. And I'm going to add one more of those basketballs. I think it was this one. And hopefully this works now. So you can see what happened. I decreased it, etc. There's now a clear card function, which does just that. There is a checkout, which takes us here. Again, my text danger isn't working. So when I put that in, I'm getting my errors. All right. But it's not in red like I wanted it to be. If I do fill everything out, all right, I'm getting yet a different error because this is all my stuff, but it should be creating my order too. So right now, I don't think this would work because I don't have anything. I just cleared my cart. But if I do come in here and grab something, so let me go back to get all balls. Let me just I'll throw in that ball. All right, check out. All right, fill everything in. Complete order. It says the order details field is required. And guess what? It's there, but for some reason, it's not finding it. So what I'm telling you is we're going to do a bunch of stuff today and we're going to get this farther. All right. When we come back after Thanksgiving, I want to have all these things fixed. Plus, I want us to be able to put in our area and put in our authorization and authentication. Now, to do that, I'm going to go over chapter 16 the Monday we get back from Thanksgiving. All right. And I'm doing that because it's important that everybody realizes we've done this. We went in and we made an area and we basically set it up ourselves. But some of it will be automated for us in the way that we'll go through it, the way they show it in the book. So what we'll do is we will go through, we will go through probably like, I don't know which one. Let me look real quick here. I wanted to do this before and I forgot about it. So. All right. So if we look at what's in the book and we go to the student download and we go to book apps, all right, you can see there is a chapter 13 bookstore, a chapter 14 bookstore, a chapter 15 bookstore, and a chapter 16 bookstore. I don't know. I'm going to look over the weekend. We're not going to do the 16 because that's what I want us to do. But I'm going to look at the 13, 14, and 15, whatever one I consider to be the best. We're going to start with that one. And then we're going to add our own authentication and authorization into that. All right. So with that said, let's get to this. And the other reason I want to get to it is it's really starting to hurt my throat now, but that is. Okay. So we came in last time and we added sessions. Okay. And we added the shopping cart, which at that time wasn't really working. You can see that now it is. Plus, I've only got one thing in here. And once I remove it, all right, okay, it doesn't like that either. Object reference is not set to the instance of an object. All right. I said this before and it isn't funny, believe me. The only thing that you can count on with this language is no matter how well something works, it's eventually going to break. All right. So from there, I want us to go in and talk about view components. And what view component, yesterday we talked a little bit about partial views. I believe we did. All right. And a partial view only works pretty much with one table at a time. It's a view for a table. If you want to do something that's going to have an effect on multiple tables, then you don't want a partial view. You want to use what are called view components. So we're going to come in here and we're going to add 2 view components right now. All right, I've got them in here already, but I will show them to you. And what I want you to do is to go and right mouse click on the name of your project, choose add, choose new folder. I'm not going to do it because I already have it, and call that components, not view components, call it components. All right, so you'll have this. And like I said, we're going to create 2 of these. All right, one of them is supposed to be the shopping cart summary, which is supposed to tell us basically what our total is going to be, as long as we've got something in our cart. That's one thing. The other thing that's in there that we're going to take a look at is what, like I said, is not really working for me right now. All right. And I was online this morning and I was looking for an example. All right. And what I had in was real close to the example. The only difference is theirs worked, of course, and mine didn't. But I'm again using something from Bootstrap. And if I'm not picking up Bootstrap, that could be the source of a lot of my problems. So let's start here with this shopping cart summary right here. So you come in here and you just make a class. So in your components, right mouse click, choose new class, and call it shopping cart summary. All right. Now you won't have this. We'll add that in a minute, but please come in and create a shopping cart summary. After you create that, you won't have any of this, but the first thing you have to do is add this, because view components all must inherit from the view component class. That will give you an error, and I believe that if you click on it, it'll add that using statement. I think that's the one that we need for it. All right. So we've got shopping cart summary, which is a type of view component. All right. And since it's a shopping cart summary, we're working, of course, with a shopping cart. So we come in here and we bring in a shopping cart object, and then we inject that into our, constructor. All right. So I'll give you a second to put those in there. This isn't really very long. I mean, when you look, there's just one more thing we have to do.
Thank you. I'm ready to go on.
All righty. So this is the rest. When you work with view components, they must have a method in there that's called invoke. All right. And this may be where my problem is. That might have to be an override, but I didn't make it one, but we'll see. All right. For now, at least, just leave it or have it in there pretty much the way that I have it in there. And so we've got this method that's called invoke. So our shopping cart items are going to be equal to our instance dot get shopping cart items. Then we create a new shopping cart view model, which you may have, you may not have. And if you don't, it's not a problem. We'll add that next. So if you do get an error when you do this right there, let me know, and then we'll do that next. So that's everything that's in here.
Okay, I've got all that and I don't have any errors.
Good. All right. Then let's come back in, just save that if you would, or do a save all or whatever. Go back to components. We're just going to write these two first. All right. Again, right mouse click, again, choose new class. And this one you want to call category menu. And very similar to what we had before, make sure that it inherits from view component. And again, we worked yesterday. I believe we did at least. I think we made a partial view yesterday. And that is designed to work with a single table or a single class or a single model, whatever you want to call it. This is designed to work with multiple ones. All right. Now, again, let me know when you got this done, because this is it. There's nothing else in there.
I've got that done.
Okay. So again, if I run this, and you don't have to run yours, but if I run this, what is supposed to happen is now this right here, and maybe you can try running yours if you want. All right. But this right here should have a drop down. And I've tried it, and some examples I found online said, oh, to do that, make this a URL. In other words, make it clickable. So I did that. It didn't do anything. So I don't know if you try yours, if you click on here, if it shows anything or it doesn't.
I don't have mine in my nav bar yet.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. So let's go in there because it's done a little bit differently. So thank you for saying that. All right. So first of all, let's do that next. So let's go into the layout. All right. Now you'll see this right away, but when you add them like this. You do an await component invoke async. What that means is it is possible that it'll take a second or two before that loads. So we're working with asynchronous code in here. And with what asynchronous code does is it allows you to, for lack of better words, while you're paused waiting for something, it allows the program to go on. All right. And when you talk about synchronous and asynchronous, synchronous, most of the time, if you go and look online for definitions, they'll say synchronous is like human conversation, where I talk, you listen, I get done, you talk, I listen, that kind of thing. Well, of course, that's not how real conversation works. People cut each other off and do whatever, but that isn't the point. Again, when you are working with operations that can possibly take some time, all right, you typically will put some async. And this program, this is really all it has in here for async. Okay. Now we're still not done, but if you look in here, I did come back. I've got the home page. I put that back. I removed the controller yesterday. I just brought it back. There's really nothing in it. All right. This is our contact, which we haven't touched on yet. Don't worry about that. We'll do that in a few minutes. And this is our ball list. What is supposed to happen is once we have this in here, again, it's supposed to have that category thing in there and a list of the categories. And then the last one that we will put in there, because we're still not done, will be all balls. So we won't need that one anymore. Okay. And again, as it says, this is our summary. So it'll tell us basically, what our final cost is, etc. All right. I'm going to take for granted you have that done. All right. Now, when you work on this stuff, it's a little, for lack of better words, it's a little squirrely. What do I mean? Well, what you have to do is under shared. You can do this right now. Under shared, make a folder right under shared called components. Don't go any further, but make a folder right underneath. Make sure it's under shared and it's called components. Then what you have to do is you're going, we'll do them one at a time, but you make another folder and it's got to have the exact same name, spelling, punctuation, etc., capitalization. So you will need to create another folder called category menu and another folder called shopping cart summary. All right. So you can do both of those right now. That's totally fine. Even though they'll be empty, I'll give you the code for them in just a minute.
Okay, I've got that.
All righty. Okay. So then what you have to do for each one of these, and again, like I said, it's kind of squirrely the way that they make you set this up, is under each one of these, you need to create a view. And that view must be called default.cs HTML for both of them. So this will have a default.cs HTML. This will have a default.cs HTML. Why don't you create the first one under category menu, and then we'll look at the code. Again, not a lot of code in here. All right, so let me move that over so you can see everything. And we'll move. I don't know if that's too small where you can't read it or if you can read it. All right. But again, this is, to my knowledge, this is set up correctly. This is supposed to come in here and work its way through all the categories. All right. Then at the bottom, we put a divider in, just that little like underscore, and then we have one more. So this should show, like I said, baseballs, footballs, basketballs, golf balls, etc. I think there's 7 types of balls. All right, that should be shown there. Then we've got a divider. Then we should have view all balls. It isn't working right now. So that is one of my things on my to-do next week while I'm off. Can you read that? Is that big enough that you can see it okay?
Yes, I can read it.
All right.
Thank
And I ask also because, typically if you can, so can anybody else who might be watching this on video later.
Welcome to this
Okay,
episode of
I
Tech
did.
Questions.
I did find a thing on job hunting, so that's good. I'll be able to send that to you in a bit. Yeah, it's entitled, Why Can't I Get a Job as a Software Developer?
Thank you. I'm almost done typing this too.
All righty.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
All right. Then make sure you create another default.cs HTML if you have not already done so in your shopping cart summary, and that's this one, which I can make bigger. And you'll notice it's using glyphicons there. What it is supposed to do is it's supposed to put a little shopping cart, all right, on your navigation bar, pop up there, and then tell you how many different products you have currently in your shopping cart. And it is setting up correctly as far as if I put one of this product, it'll say two, but I don't have the glyphicon.
Okay, I think I've got that.
All righty. Let me close these. Back. Let's bring up the layout. All right. So my layout now has this. Now you can put this in if you want. We're going to do that next. All right. That's up to you. But when you look right here, this is what I have. Let me move this so I can put it on multiple lines so you can probably read it a little bit better. You'll notice again that all of this stuff, right now at least, has area equal nothing because we don't have an area yet. And that area that we will create in a little more than a week, when we create that area, that's what's going to allow us to do the authorization and authentication. All right. So once you do this, you should have links on there for home, another link for contact, another link for get all balls. For that category menu, all right, it should say category on it, and it should have a little caret on the side. And what's supposed to happen is if you click it, it shows you the different categories. All right. And that shopping cart summary is supposed to show you literally how many different types of items are in the shopping cart. So if I buy 12 basketballs and they're all the same ball, it's only going to show one in there because it's how many different kinds do I have, not how many total products. That'd be a little bit different query. Could do that too if we wanted to.
Okay, I've got all this.
So again, you can try this too if you want to, but if you run this now, all right. So notice again, home, contact, get all balls, and then those other two things. So home, contact, get all balls, categories. Now I don't have anything in my cart. Since I have nothing in my cart, it's not showing the summary. But again, if I go to get all balls and I put one in there, notice now it says one. It's not showing the shopping cart, which it's supposed to do, but it's showing me a one. If I go back again and add something else, All right, now it says 2, so that's working. All right, we're going to do this decrease thing later. Don't worry about that. We're going to do the clear cart later and the checkout later, so you don't have to worry about any of those. When you did yours, is yours look like mine as far as is it a little bumped up like this?
Yeah,
And
yeah, my
and
categories
when you
look
click it, it doesn't do anything?
Yep.
All right. So then maybe that's not me. I'll have to go back and double check my code, but I have already, and I'll do it again. That's fine. All right. So we've got all that done. The next thing we want to do is we want to add that contact area. All right. And I'll show you what it is first, and then we'll go over it. All right. So there'll be a thing here that says contact. Yours right now is not operational, but we're going to make a tag helper. So we click on there and it says, click the link below to send us an email. And you click contact us, and it brings up your default email provider, Outlook for me. All right. And it's pretty simple, but chapter 15 in the book, which we didn't really cover, chapter 15 talked about partial views, view components, and tag helpers. All right. I found the chapter, I went back and reread it the other night, to be extremely confusing. So I added some of that stuff into our project here, figuring that if you looked at it, maybe it would make a little bit more sense. All right. So to do that, which is what we're going to do next, the first thing I would like you to do is to come up and add a new folder under your ball store. All right, so add a new folder up here, and that new folder should be called Tag Helpers. 2 words, capital T, capital H. All right, and after you do that, put a file in it. It's going to be a class that's called email tag helper.cs. And again, you can see it's not very long. All right. It still won't work because there's still more that we have to do, but we'll do that momentarily. So we're adding our own tag helper. All right. When you add this, it has to inherit from the tag helper class. That is Microsoft.aspnetcore.razor.taghelpers. All right. I mean, we've looked at it before where we've had ASP.NET Core.MVC, so this is a little bit different. So we're creating in here something that has 2 properties, an email address, and I made it up. I made one up. I called it info@ballstore.com. I mean, you could put anything. You could put your own email address in there if you wanted to. And then link text, which just said something like, please click to send us an email or something like that. All right. Now, when you work on this, again, this is the whole thing. All right. So when you work on this, every time you create a tag helper, you must override a public method called process. And once you type in this, basically, once you type in this line right here and put in your curly braces, I think that line will be added for you.
Okay, I've got all that.
All righty. So what's in here, just so you know, it says we're going to have an anchor tag. All right. So we're going to have a hyperlink. The attributes will be href and a mail to. All right. And that mail to basically is going to go to whatever address we put in there. Okay. Hopefully, like I said, that all makes sense. And then we want to set the content, and that is going to be that link text. Now, we haven't put any of that stuff in yet, so we're going to do that next. All right, so let's see. You can see how this is, in a way, there's so much junk in here that after a while, it's like, geez, where did I put this? All right. I'm looking, like I said, I based a lot of this off of a class that I took a couple of years ago. And let's see what he has to say about these tag helpers. All right. Next, we want to go in and under. Let's see. All right. Under views, add a new contact folder. Under views, add a new contact folder. In that folder, add the default file, which will be an index.cshtml file. All right. You can see how small this file is. Now, what should happen when you do this. If you look up on the screen here, when you start to type in this, right there that you see in blue, the IntelliSense should pick that up for you. All right. In other words, it should realize that you've got that. If it doesn't, don't worry about it, because one thing we haven't done is we haven't added it yet to our list of tag helpers. And we're going to do that next. So if for some reason it doesn't work, don't let it throw you. All right.
Okay, I've got that.
All righty. So the last thing that we should have to do in here, all right, is to go into our view imports file. And you can see what I added right here on line 5. You must add it before the default one, which says what I want to do is, and I'm assuming that you called yours Ball Store like I did. If you called it something else, this is the name of the project, .tag helpers .star. This says I want access to every tag helper that I put in here. And it's literally in what's called the Ball Store assembly, which means that when you compile it and put all the stuff together, all right, that's the assembly. Right? And then once you have all that stuff, save it. All right, so I'm going to do the same. I'll do a save all. I'm taking for granted you've got everything. And then run the program. You've already got the link in there, so click the link for contact and tell me, does it say this on yours?
Sorry, mine's running a bit slow today.
That's okay. I'm running a bit slow today, so.
Okay, mine's at first it was saying it wasn't connecting to localhost, and now it's saying that it's an SQL server error. So I think there's something up with just my connection on my machine. I don't think it's any of the code that we just added.
Okay, okay. All right, I haven't heard that one before, but I take your word for it. All right, next, again, hopefully, once we get done with this, we're gonna have ourselves something where we are able to go in and actually buy stuff. All right. Now, in order to go in there and actually buy stuff, all right, well, there's going to be a couple more things that we'll need. So let's start with these. All right. And I'm going to start by going into views and going into models, and we're going to add two new models. All right. One is going to be called order, and one is going to be called order detail. All right. So again, one will be called order and one will be called order detail. Let's look at order first. All right. Yeah, it's a little bit of a mess, but let's go over what it means. All right. Now you'll notice if you look up on the screen there in line 8, it's got order ID bind never. That's going to be provided for us. So we don't want to worry about ever having to check it. All right. Again, this is going to be our order information. So we already should have all of this stuff available to us. But now it's saying, okay, who are we sending this order to? So you can see that there's going to be a lot of similarity here as far as, rather than display this as first name where it's stuck together, we did the display, so we broke it up into two. Do you have to do that? No, but it makes it a little nicer to look at. So we've got their first name, we've got last name, changed address to street address. So for each one of those, we've got a display, we've got a string length, and we've got a required attribute. All right. Plus I put the question marks in there. And since virtually everything in here other than our order ID, all of our major fields are going to be strings, I put the question mark in there and I set them all to string.empty. So again, when you look at this, we've got an order ID, we've got a first name, we've got a street address, a first name and a last name and an address, and I'm going to move down. And we've got a city, we've got a state, and we've got a zip code. Now, you'll notice if you look here on the state, we're setting this one up expecting that what we're putting in there is a 2-letter state abbreviation. All right. So again, for Missouri, it would be MO. You get the idea. Doing the same thing for zip code. Now, I could have set it up instead of 5, we could have made it 10 because sometimes you get the 5 numbers dash and then 4 numbers. I just left it at 5. Try to keep it as simplistic basically as possible. And then for the phone number that you see here, there actually is a data type for phone number. All right. And then once we get done with that, there'll be just a couple more fields at the bottom, and we'll get to those in just a bit. When you get up to right here, please let me know.
Okay, I've got all that.
All righty. And then that's what's left. Now there's something special about the last two fields in here. All right. They are not, I'm going to say that again. These last two fields, not the one in blue, which is what I'm having problems with right now, but the last two fields, the order total is a calculated field. And the order placed field, we're defaulting it to today. All right. So in other words, those are not two values. Those two values are not values that you're going to be entering. And that's why we've got the bind never, because they're going to be basically put in there for us. Now, you may have gotten an error on here because we don't have an order details yet. We're going to make that in a second.
Okay, I've got all that.
All righty. So then go in and add another class called order details. All right. And this, as it says, will be the detail for every order. All right. So let me make that a little smaller. And that's everything right there, other than the curlies at the bottom.
Okay, I've got that.
All right. Then next in our models, we're going to make another interface. And that interface will be iOrder repository. It's very small, as you can see. This is where we're going to actually physically create our order. So if you came out there and you ordered 2 basketballs and, you know, a bowling ball, etc., that's going to be everything that's going to be in your order.
Okay, I've got it.
All righty. And since we've got an iOrder repository, we also want an order repository, which implements that. All right. So it's a little longer, but start with that and then we'll go over it. Let me know when you get to here, please. And then we'll go over it.
Okay, I'm down to create order.
All righty. Okay, so we're going to be working with the database when we're going to be manipulating the shopping cart. All right. So in here, as you can see, and I can make it smaller, but I just want to go over all of it first. All right. Again, these are those two fields that I mentioned were a little bit different. So even though I defaulted the order placed to date.time.now, I put it in here as well. And the ordered total, we've already got a thing in our shopping cart called get shopping cart total. So we are doing those. After we do that, we're adding that order and we're saving our changes. All right. And the reason that we have to do that is when we come in and we start doing that, one of the things that should happen when we do that is we should get an order ID, which we probably previously did not have. So I'll shut up and let me know when you get down to the for each, please.
Okay, I'm at the for each.
Second. So now, as you can see, we're adding a new order detail. All right. And basically, in our order, this will be the amount. So how many we have, the total price. All right. For each one of these, because we're going into a for each loop, what type it is, and the associated order ID, which again, we got from up above. Then once we do that, we add the order detail and we again save the changes. And like I said, that's everything that's in here. So.
Sorry, I've got everything typed up. I just got a few errors I'm trying to work out.
Okay.
So I've got it down to just 2 errors, both of them with the ball context. It's lines 37 on yours and 22. It's saying that order and order details, or ball context does not contain a definition for order and for order details.
All right. You do have, I'm taking for granted, you've got this here
Yes.
and this.
Yes.
Okay. And you've got order right there.
Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to hit the obvious ones first. So this worked, correct?
Yes. Yeah, it's just that line 22.
All right. So when you do this, when you say underscore ball context dot, and you don't, it like mine does here, it doesn't show you orders there.
No.
I think I may know what it is. So let's just hold off on it. You got the rest of the stuff there, correct?
Yes. Okay.
All right. So, because this is what I was going to tell you next anyway. So you've got everything in here, but we made a bunch of changes. So we made a bunch of changes to our database. So two things. First, we have to go over into our ball context file and we have to add these. Now, the only fields or the only tables that we're populating are balls and categories. The shopping cart items, the orders, and the order details are going to be filled up for us as we go in and start using our actual application. And once you've got those two things in there, all right, go back, save everything, do a build solution and make sure it builds clean. All right. And I don't know, again, I'm trying to figure out why that wouldn't, because I hope you still don't get those two errors. But what we need to do then is you need to do an add migration and an update database. But I'm trying to figure out, like I said, just looking at that, why you'd be getting the errors you're getting. I'm hoping this may even help fix it. I don't know if it will or
No,
not.
that solved my errors. Yeah.
Good. All right, then save everything, do a build solution, and then go do an add migration, give it whatever name you want, and an update database.
Okay, that's all done.
All right, then we'll take a break. But before we do, I just want to make sure, because I probably shouldn't have done it the way I did it. But if you could look over here in your Solution Explorer, and you should have, I want to verify, you've got those two components, category, menu.cs, and shopping cart summary.cs, correct?
Yes.
All right. Under controllers, you probably do not have an order controller yet. We're going to do that after the break. But this ball's on sale, I haven't put anything in there yet. So don't worry about that one either. In fact, I can remove that. All right. But you should have a ball controller. You should have a contact controller. All right. You should have a home controller. You should have a shopping cart controller. And again, we'll do this one when you come back from the break. Am I correct that you've, go
I
ahead.
actually don't have a contact controller.
All right, then let's look. See, that's why I'm saying I don't want to miss anything. All right, that might be why your contact had problems too. Just go in and create a brand new controller, call it contact controller, You have to put nothing special in it. In other words, it should come up and look just like this.
Okay, I got that now.
All right. Okay, and again, we'll do the order controller. We'll do that after the break. All right, migrations I'm now worried about. Under models, all right, do you have 3 view models? Do you
Yes.
have ball list view model, balls on sale view model, and shopping cart view model?
Oh, I have a home view model and not balls on sale.
All right, I may have ended up. Let's just assume that that is a home view model and I screwed up. Okay, and under your things that are here, you've got ball.cs, ballcontext.cs, ballrepository.cs, category.cs, category repository.cs. Don't worry about the error view, of course. Then you've got the 3 interface files, iballrepository.cs, iCategoryRepository.cs, iOrderRepository.cs, then order.cs, which we just added, order-detail.cs, which we just added, order-repository.cs, which again we just added, and then shopping-cart.cs and shopping-cart-item.cs. So other than the fact that we've got a difference in what we name these, all right, is everything
Yeah.
else there? Okay.
Yes, mine's the
All
same, and
right.
the code for that balls on sale view model is the same in mine too.
Okay. So I'll go back and rename mine. All right. So again, we'll do the order controller after the break. You should now, because we just did this, you should have a tag helpers folder. All right. With that email tag helper in it. Again, nothing new. We did that before. All right. And then with our views, we should have under there a ball folder, which has in it details.cs.html, which shows us the details for an individual ball, and list.cs.html, which shows us all the balls. The balls on sale, don't worry about it. We haven't done anything with that yet. So don't worry, I can get rid of that. Under the contact, we added that index.cs.html, so you should have that. Under home, I've got just the index because that's my home page. All right. Under order, we haven't done that yet, so don't worry about it. You don't have that in there yet, so don't worry about it. All right. Again, we're going to do all that after the break. All right. Under components, you've got one folder named category menu with a default.cs HTML under it, and another folder called shopping cart summary with a default.cs HTML under it. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Did we do this yesterday, or am I just that out of it? Did we do this ball partial yesterday?
You briefly showed it. I didn't get a chance to copy it
All
down,
right.
but you went over
Then
it.
we're going to do that right when we get back. All right. The carousel is nothing, so I get rid of that. All right. So I don't even see it's an empty file. So all right. The layout we just upgraded. And the validation scripts partial we're not using and the error we're not using. So that should all be okay. All right. Shopping cart should have in it an index.cs HTML. You should have a view imports, which we upgraded to add our tag helper. The view start never gets touched. We've already got this. All right. One thing we have to do after the break, we have to do 3 things. Number 1, we're going to go in to this file right here, our program.cs, and I want to make sure you've got all 4 of these builder.services.scoped. So my guess is right now you've either got 2 or 3. You don't have all 4. Once we get done with that, all right, then we'll go and look at from yesterday, we'll look at this ball partial. All right. Once we get done with that, we'll implement the order stuff. We'll do we've already got the classes. So we'll come in and we will create the order controller, and then we will create the order views. All right. There's checkout and checkout complete. All right. And that'll be it then for today. All right. So it is 1:15. Let's just take 10 and come back, please, at 1:25.
I got your email. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, so this is the ball partial dot CSHTML. It should be under shared. That's the whole file right there. I mean, there's nothing missing or anything, so. And I renamed my view model to home view model.cs. Well, now with everything else, I just felt my forehead and I feel hot too, so.
Okay, I think I've got all that.
Alrighty. Then let's go over to controllers and please go in and add an order controller. Yeah, not that big, not that small, about 50 lines. So um,
Okay, I'm at the post.
alrighty.
Okay, I'm at checkout complete now.
Alrighty. You'll notice we're using the view bag in there. We're going to actually use that in the view file also.
Okay, I've got all that. Thank you.
All right, so as you can tell, there is going to be, we have what in here? Well, this is called, this is our order controller. All right, so we've got checkout. This is basically, we could have put a get there, but it doesn't matter. This was our post. All right, we're checking to make sure there's something in there, and if there's not, we shouldn't go on. All right, so that's why we're checking here is if the model state is valid. All right, and this is when we're all done, it should give us that message. So the first one, the checkout, go into your views if you would, and make a new folder under views called order. And in that folder, first make a checkout complete.cshtml, which is one spanking line right here.
Okay, I've got that.
And then you can make a checkout.cshtml, make that smaller. And that's, well, probably the biggest one we've done today. That's 70 lines. This is where we've got the form that we're going to build. It's got first name, last name, etc. So what you can do if you want is after you put in this, you can just copy it down several times and then just change first name to last name and then to address, city, state, etc. So you will need one for first name, one for last name, address, city, state, zip, and phone number. So let me know when you've gotten to that point, please.
Okay, I think I've got all the fields.
All right, so again, it would be first name, last name, address, city, state, zip code, phone number. And make sure, as always, you've changed the ASP4 in the label and in here and in here. All right. And then this is the last one, and that is putting in the button.
Okay, I've got everything.
All right. Then I'm looking in here and in the, let's see. All right. You've got both of these already. I know you do. You've got the category and the shopping cart. We talked about that before. So that one should be done. And that one should be done. That's good. All right. Let's see. We should be able to clear the cart because you've got that as well. And the only thing that's really left is to go in and I don't know if you put the code in or not for decreasing the amount. So we're going to do that right now. And as you'd guess, it's going to be a hyperlink. All right. And it's going to be, let's see. Yeah. Now in here, I don't know if you did it exactly like this in the shopping cart or not, but if you don't, we have to add up an empty thing at the top. You may have that, you may not have that. Because what we want to do is we want to be able to add a hyperlink in here, which will allow us to decrease our amount by 1 if we want to do that, or if it's at 1 already, to remove that item from the cart. So like I said, go in, if you would please, to your shopping cart index dot CSHTML. And do you have this?
I actually had, this was an empty file for me.
Okay. Well, then let's start filling it up.
Okay.
And as always, let me know when you get to about the T body, and then I'll move it down.
I just got the T-body.
All righty. Hmm.
Okay, I'm down to the
Alrighty.
footer. Could you show your just what model you're bringing in? Shopping cart view model. Okay. Okay, I think I'm good.
Okay. Now, I didn't mean to lie to anybody, but I did not finish writing up the write-up for you guys. But since next week is lab, basically, let's talk about what you're going to have to do. All right. So number one, all right, figure out the product you want to sell. And again, I'm asking that not be food. All right. So there's number one. Number two, create the equivalent of ball.cs and categories. So create the categories. And we'll just say regular data. All right. Of again, what you're going to sell. All right, next, I want you to create your own homepage. You can even be outlandish in this. I mean, go nuts with color, do whatever you want to do for it. It's totally up to you. You're going to have the other stuff that we put in here, but I'm also, one of the things, if you remember, one of the things that you were supposed to do is in your data that we had. All right. So for instance, under models, balls, we had a field in there called is ball on sale? And you should have put some of those for true. When you're doing your own example, all right. So what I'm saying is I want you to implement a new page for your product on sale. So it should have just the stuff in there that's on sale. Hopefully what I just said there made some sense. All right. Now there's a few more things. I've got it written down at home, but I don't remember right now what they are. When I stop by at home after my doctor's appointment today, I'll try to remember to bring that document up and I'll just send it out to everybody. All right. But that's what I had for today. All right. And again, next week, it's lab. I will be occasionally looking at my email to answer stuff. I will get back to you within 12 to 24 hours. All right. And have a nice Thanksgiving holiday. And I will talk to you then on Monday, the 27th. See you later.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.